up, guys? CP the Tool Addict. Woo! Today, we got some new tools from MichaelPro. Now, I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed. I lost this footage, so this is about the 5th time I've recorded this. So, I've already had a video out. I've already made a video, but you guys have never seen it yet, obviously. But they come out with some new 3-ton jacks, and I did a little short showing the fact that you could bend this tab in right here. So that way you could, let me get this up here. So that way you could, hold on, if you bend this tab on these jacks right here, that way you can grab these and they never fall out. And so people didn't know about that, and I guess that was kind of a deal that I didn't know, that people didn't know about it. I seen somebody asked me about that one day, and I said, why don't you bend the tab on your jack right there, fella? That's what that's for. Fold that in. Bend that over. I took a punch and chisel. I'll add the short clip in there so you can see, but 3-ton jacks that are affordable. You just need a small set of jacks. Some guys like the 3-tonners. Some guys like the 6-tonners, obviously. They obviously want different applications for different vehicles you work on. So definitely, these are a quality made jack too, or quality jack stand too, made out of Taiwan, not China. But nonetheless, that's not all we got. We got some really cool stuff. So let's look at some other stuff we got. Boom, shakalaka! We have the world's heaviest duty ratchet. I don't know if it's heaviest duty, but man, these things are absolutely beast. Now, let me start off with saying I know there's going to be 7 guys who are offended in the comment box. These are not for everybody, okay? MichaelPro is a tool company that is trying to help sell tools. They've been around forever. I've said this a million times when I talk about this. People always complain about the names, blah, blah, blah. You know, if you're one of those guys, you know, you're just, I don't know what's wrong with you. If you don't like them, you don't have to buy them. Nobody has to buy this stuff. If you don't like it, then don't buy it, okay? But I'm here to tell you because MichaelPro is a good company. I know for a fact MichaelPro has been making jacks. Okay, they've been making, they're a vendor out of Kansas City, Missouri, and they've been around as long as Astro Tools. They do BVA hydraulics. You can look them up. You can look up, they do, what else? They do Lincoln Jacks, Lincoln Jacks, Blackhawk Proto, Porter Power. They've been around for a long time, okay? And so this is they're just getting into the hand tool market now. They've always been the bone creeper. If you've ever bought a bone creeper or seen anybody with the bone creeper, that's who it comes from. The same guys that build this stuff. So they've been around a lot longer than Tecton, Capri, you know, those companies that are fly by night. So I think they got a grasp on stuff. But nonetheless, we're going to look at this ratchet because this is a unique ratchet. This thing's heavy. I mean, this thing is a donkey, okay? You could put a hurting on somebody. You carry this ratchet with you, it's like a club. This ratchet is heavy as my 16-inch snap-on ratchet. Just this little 3/8 like this. And then it has a couple of unique features. It has this weird little locking function. Okay, you take this, it has a thumb wheel on the back here. It has a switch, but it has this locking feature on it so you can turn it into a breaker bar. But that's not all she's got. She's got an extension on her too. So it's an extendable 3/8 ratchet with a breaker bar function, quick release, flex head. I mean, they tried to dial in everything with it. Now, I will say the one thing I don't like about it, and it could come in handy in some cases, like you just seen me do, is the fact that there's no locking or no way to hold retention on it. So if you are just messing around like that, oh, she's shrinking, boys. This is like it's like you just jumped into a cold pool. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got a lot of shrinkage here. Not very, I wish they'd have done some kind of spin lock on the handle or something. That's the biggest problem with these extendable handle ratchets. Because when you're trying to reach it, if you're trying to get torque on, oh, you slipped right in like that. Lost all your leverage on them. That's one downfall. Other than that, kind of an interesting ratchet. And for a guy who's trying to save a few bucks and he wanted to buy a few tools, you know, and have yourself a little different style ratchet, 72 tooth, nothing too crazy. We got their sealed head. They are lifetime warranty though. The 1/2 inch is the same way, but you're getting a lot of ratchet for the money, in my opinion. Just saying. Just saying, guys. This is not for a cheaper ratchet. I would take these over a Pittsburgh Pro any day of the week. Would I trade them off for my Snap-on? No. But for a DIY perspective, or somebody who's just looking to having a decent ratchet, save themselves a few bucks. What do we got going on here? Well, there's a hollow oh, they're all hollow handled too. I did not realize that. Huh, that's interesting. You can see right down in the middle of that handle. So that's not even thin steel neither. Let's look at the 1/2-inch one. Whoop, look at that. It's like playing the piccolo. Huh, interesting. It's got some weird divot in that. I don't know what that's all about. Doesn't make much sense to me, but it's got a weird divot in there. So anyways, guys, that's one thing. The last thing I got is pretty cool, and this is a pretty good set. So let's check it out. Boom shakalaka. Here we go. We've got the MichaelPro black anti-slip wrenches, or damaged bolt remover wrenches. Now, I will say, first of all, these are exactly like the Ulsa Tool ones. I don't think there's any difference, honestly. But, however, they have a socket. They have an anti-slip socket with them. So, that is a big deal. In the insert, this is actually a really nice compact. I don't mind this foam tray because they really went through the steps, I think, to really keep this very compact. I mean, not very wide, not very long. This is how I'd like to see more of the EV foam being treated like that. But let's take a look at these wrenches up close and talk about them. So these are a little bit different than the Capri wrenches, and I've used a couple of them so far. Project Farm did a video on these and he was 100% right. With the offset of these, you're definitely going to lose a little leverage on them when you're trying to get to a damaged nut. But I will say this, you can use these with a good fastener or a bad fastener all the time. So these are meant to be used just like the RBRT wrenches, only not charging you the $600 for the full set of RBRT wrenches when you can buy these. These are a more affordable option, and obviously they're readily available for all the DIY crowd as well, because we all know the RBRT wrenches are right now only available to Mac. That being said, the grip on them is not quite as good as the RBRT, but I don't find them to be inferior in ways that you're going to have to worry about it. I honestly, for as much as I do have to take out strip out bolts, but the one thing that people like to overlook about strip out bolts, yes, when that one time that you have them and they work and it saved your day, you're looking at about 50% chance of already getting that bolt or nut out. If you've got to the point to where it's stripped out, you're down to using these wrenches for that application, okay? You are already got your rabbit's foot out and been rubbing it, okay? I will say that. Any bolt or nut that's down to that point. These are kind of a last resort deal, but these you can use all the time too. They do have a pretty tight tolerance, and I don't disagree with Project Farm's findings on that. Usually I don't agree with everything he says because his perspective and his testing doesn't really match up with the way mechanics work, in my opinion. But on that fact, I did notice that he was 100% right. When I'm using these, you tend to cam them a little bit because of the offset. Now, onto the sockets. The sockets, however, I find to be very useful. I think these are really, really good. And the funny thing is I got to thinking about that, and I was like, man, these things look oddly familiar. The style of these and everything. And then I looked at my Pro non-slips. And I'm like, well, what do you know, fella? These look very similar to my Pro non-slip sockets. And I love these Pro non-slips, and I have not had any problems with taking off compromised fasteners at all with these sockets. They are bi-directional, and they work really well. The one thing I'm curious about is why this little neoprene insert's in here, which I would imagine is going to get torn up after a while. I guess you warranty it, get them replaced, but I guess that's supposed to help you a little bit for something, but I guess get in there a little bit deeper. But these are fantastic sockets. So this kit is like 125 bucks or something. I don't remember what it was. This is a good kit to get. I would say for anybody that's on a budget, once again, that's looking for a damage removal fastener wrench, this one's the way to go, or perhaps a Capri hex grip. We'll say the hex grip's not as well tuned to being good for using bidirectional removal or install, but they can be used for it. I don't care what anybody says, including Astro or Capri or anybody. I've already used them. I know the manufacturers and tool people who don't work on stuff daily always know more than what a mechanic does, even though they don't actually use the tools. And you can always guarantee you a salesman is always going to tell you that too. A salesman, an engineer, or the company will always tell a guy that's using the tools, "Hey guy, your tool, that tool doesn't work for that." Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, fella. A lot of people didn't intend gas axes for cutting off a lot of things too that we'd use them for. So you got to do what you got to do. Anyways, guys, that's the video for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll put a link for all this stuff in the description. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell. Remember, keep your hands dirty and your money clean. Thanks for watching.